The morning Demetrios lost everything. The sun rose over Athens exactly as it always had, indifferent, golden, and impossibly beautiful. That was the cruelest part. He had expected the world to pause, to at least flicker. Instead, the olive vendors at the agora were already shouting their prices. The smell of warm bread drifted through the limestone streets, and children chased each other past the ruins of things far older and far more broken than him. He stood at the edge of the Panathenaic Way with nothing but the cloak on his back and a silence so total it rang like a bell inside his chest. 3 days earlier, Demetrios had been the most celebrated merchant in all of Athens. His shipping routes moved wine, salt, and silk from Piraeus to Rhodes and beyond. His name opened doors. His word was currency. Then, in the span of 72 hours, a forged contract, a corrupt magistrate, and a business partner whose loyalty proved decorative, and all of it was gone. The ships, the warehouse, the reputation he had spent 11 years building, stone by stone, like a man constructing a temple with his bare hands. He walked, because what else do you do when the floor disappears? He walked until his sandals found the steps of the Stoa Poikile, the painted porch, where the philosophers gathered in the shade to argue about things most men were too busy to care about. He had passed this place 1,000 times and never stopped. Rich men rarely stop. Ruin, it turns out, is a remarkable teacher of patience. An old man sat alone beneath a column, eyes half closed, turning a smooth stone over in his fingers the way some men turn worry into ritual. He didn't look up when Demetrios collapsed onto the step beside him. "You have the posture of a man who just discovered the ground can move," the old man said.
Demetrius laughed, a hard, ugly sound. "I've lost everything." "Yes," said the old man, "I can see that." He paused. "What will you do with it?" Demetrius stared at him. "With what? There is nothing left." The old man turned the stone once more. "That," he said quietly, "is exactly what I mean." His name was Philo, and he had been a student of students of students of Zeno himself, that strange Phoenician merchant who had also lost a ship, also lost everything, and then, instead of weeping into the Aegean, had walked to Athens, sat down in a porch just like this one, and begun to think, not about what was lost, about what remained. "Most men," Philo said, "treat failure like a wound. They press cloth to it, keep it hidden, hope it heals without a scar. But a wound and a door look very similar from the inside of a dark room." Demetrius said nothing. He was listening in the way only desperate men listen, with their whole body. The Stoics understood something your competitors do not. Failure strips you of all the things that were slowing you down, your pride, your comfort, your certainty that the path you were walking was the right one. These are heavy things, Demetrius. Men carry them for decades without ever noticing the weight. Then, in one morning, fate lifts them off your shoulders. He held up the smooth stone, and suddenly you can feel how light you actually are. That night, Demetrius slept on the steps of the Stoa, and something strange happened in the dark. His mind, for the first time in 11 years, went completely quiet. No inventory to check, no ledgers to balance, no alliances to maintain. He lay there under the Athenian stars and thought about what he actually knew, not what he owned, but what he knew. The shipping lanes, the seasonal winds out of the north, the 3 ports in the Aegean where the harbor masters took bribes and the 2 where they didn't, the goods that moved fastest in winter, the ones no one thought to carry. By dawn, he had the outline of something new, not a recovery, something better. He thought of what Philo had told him. The obstacle is not in your way. The obstacle is the way. He had lost his ships, but he still knew every captain who sailed them. He had lost his warehouse, but he remembered every merchant who had ever stored goods inside it, their needs, their habits, their debts. His former partner had stolen his structure. But you cannot steal a man's knowledge. You cannot repossess what lives inside a mind. His competitors, meanwhile, were celebrating. They thought they had won. They didn't understand that they had just handed him the one thing comfortable men never acquire: hunger without arrogance, the sharpest competitive edge there is. 6 months later, Demetrios returned to the agora, not as the man who had fallen, but as something harder and more dangerous, a man who had already lost everything and discovered, on the other side of that loss, that he was still standing. He had nothing to protect, no reputation so precious it couldn't be risked, no comfort so sweet it couldn't be sacrificed. He moved through the market like water through stone, patient, inevitable, finding every crack. Within 2 years, his new operation made his old one look like a practice run. Years later, a young merchant came to him, hollow-eyed and ruined, and asked how he had done it. Demetrios thought of Philo, of the stone turning in old fingers, of the sun rising indifferent over Athens while his world collapsed. "I stopped trying to return to who I was," he said. "Failure doesn't take your future, it only takes your past. And the past," he smiled, "was always the heaviest thing you were carrying." The young man looked confused, but he would understand. They always did. Eventually, the floor stops moving, and you realize it was never the floor that was holding you up. It was you all along.